Now to a story of renewal and hope. The black-flanked rock wallaby once thrived in the remote APY Lands. But now, as its numbers have plummeted to less than 200, the locals are instrumental in trying to save the species. Rebecca Bryce headed up there this week to see how they're going. But before we get to that, a warning that this story contains archival footage which may include images of Aboriginal people who are now deceased.
There's an unmistakable beauty to the Ananu Pitjantjatjara Yankunytjatjara lands in the far, far north of South Australia, and it's only enriched by the wildlife. But the beauty belies a harsh and unrelenting world which has forced some of the native residents away. This inquisitive macropod is a waru, or black-flanked rock wallaby. It's now only found in 2 parts of South Australia, thanks mostly to hungry cats, foxes and eagles.
We estimate there's a population of only about 150 to 200 animals left in South Australia, so they're right up there in terms of the endangered species within South Australia.
As joeys, this waru and 14 others came to Monarto Zoo, about an hour east of Adelaide, to start a captive breeding program. Another 8 have since joined them.
Back in, I think it was 2007 or 2008, that's when we translocated the pouch young rock wallabies from the APY Lands with permission from the locals and traditional owners down to Monarto Zoo and cross-fostered them with yellow-footed rock wallabies, and since then they've grown up in Monarto Zoo.
Cross-fostering is a fiddly process.
Push it forward, slide it forward.
Taken from its mother's pouch, the joey is attached to a surrogate, a yellow-footed rock wallaby. At Monarto, the joeys are safe from outback predators. Back home, their mothers are free to have more young.
Hello? The warus went from AP Lands, gone to Adelaide, and they're coming back when they grow up back home to live.
The Minma, or Ananu grandmothers, first noticed the species in decline here near Ernabella a decade ago.
They were the ones that first said that, hey, look, these animals used to be here before and now they're gone, we need to do something.
Waru was considered a local delicacy.
So for a long time, the waru were being eaten?
Yeah, for a long time, when they was maybe but young.
And so are they still being eaten now?
No, they're looking after them now.
Now it's off the menu, but obviously it didn't translate to the waru's predators. So instead the locals got together with Zoos SA, the Environment Department and university students to help save the species. Ananu are now employed as rangers, monitoring the local population.
Look around the hills, up in the hills, looking around for warus and feeding them food.
Trapping and have a look, check any sick waru that they're all right.
And anticipating the Monarto wallabies' return, they built a pinchi, or fence, to keep the predators at bay.
Like we built a fence and we finished it, and we made things happen there. And we always go out there and check for any tent or anything that broken, but everything's still all right.
So we had 14 Ananu men involved in the construction of the enclosure, and they were supervised by an experienced fencing contractor, but the enclosure was built solely by Ananu, and all those 14 fencers are now equipped with the skills to maintain and repair that fence without any external help.
And that's the second objective of the Waru Recovery Project.
It's about conserving black-footed rock wallabies, which is one of South Australia's most endangered mammals, but it's also very much about employing anangu in land management work here in the APY Lands and the traditional owners of the land.
I think I love this job.
Why is that?
Because I get to climb up the hills and do a bit of trapping.
Old men and old lady, they're all proud. And we're going to look forward with the work,
keep going.
So it's not just good for the waru, it's good for the community as well.
Yeah.
There's also a new chapter for the local dreaming. In 2008, the Ananu Minmar sang of Waru mothers mourning the loss of their joeys. Now a new verse tells of their return. And the return is imminent.
No.
Track them with those? They're all chewed up.
The tape on the outside has been chewed.
Back in Adelaide, 6 wallabies from Manato are loaded onto a plane to continue the journey back home. There's a big welcoming party at the Ernabella airstrip, ready to escort them on the final leg of their 3,000-kilometre round trip.
For the wallabies, this is where their new life begins. We're pretty much in the centre of Australia here. Ernabella is about 40 kilometres that way, and the Northern Territory is about 30 kilometres that way. Behind this predator-proof fence is 100 hectares of land that they'll now call home. But will they like it? It's time to find out. The Ananu women herald their entry into the Pinchi. They'll be safe from cats and foxes here, although they'll still have to keep an eye out for wedge-tailed eagles. As dusk descends, the convoy reaches the release site. There's a trek through long grass to a rocky hill full of cracks and caves for sleeping and hiding. Some need a bit of coaxing. Others are out in a shot. And at the last minute, rangers from a sister project arrive, perhaps underlining the significance of the release. They've driven 300 kilometres from Kalka, the only other waru habitat in the state. They're just in time to see the last one off for its first frosty night in its new surroundings. Out here, it would be easy to feel alone, but the Ananu are doing their best to prevent that from ever happening.
That's why we want to build it up and make it for the next generation to go on.
Good luck to them.